Trump's executive order. Can it solve homelessness? A new executive order from President Donald Trump is stirring controversy by directing local authorities to clear unhoused individuals from the streets, a move that highlights the ongoing struggle with homelessness in the United States. This bold step has ignited debates about the ethics and effectiveness of such measures. On Thursday, President Trump issued an executive order aimed at reversing federal and state judicial precedents and terminating consent decrees that limit local governments' power to compel individuals into mental health treatment. The order also seeks to redirect funding towards rehabilitation and treatment programs. The overarching goal is to restore public order, addressing what the administration describes as a growing concern: endemic vagrancy, disorderly behavior, sudden confrontations, and violent attacks have made our cities unsafe. This action comes at a critical time as the homelessness crisis in the U.S. has intensified over the past few years, largely due to a severe shortage of affordable housing. According to a recent single-day count, an estimated 770,000 people were experiencing homelessness across the country last year, marking the highest figure ever recorded. But here's where it gets controversial. Cities and states have increasingly adopted harsher approaches to homelessness, often pushing individuals out of public spaces like parks and city streets, even when no shelter is available. In a significant legal development, the Supreme Court ruled last year that cities can impose fines and even jail time on unhoused individuals for sleeping outside, a decision that has emboldened local governments to take more aggressive actions. Under the new executive order, the administration plans to move unhoused individuals into long-term institutional settings for humane treatment through the appropriate use of civil commitment. White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt defended the order, stating that the president is delivering on his commitment to make America safe again and end homelessness. She added, "By removing vagrant criminals from our streets and redirecting resources towards substance abuse programs, the Trump administration will ensure that Americans feel safe in their own communities and that individuals suffering from addiction or mental health issues get the help they need." However, the National Homelessness Law Center strongly condemned the order, arguing that it deprives people of their basic rights and will likely exacerbate the problem rather than solve it. Jesse Rabinowitz, a spokesperson for the center, noted, "Today's executive orders, combined with MAGA's budget cuts for housing and healthcare, will increase the number of people forced to live in tents, in their cars, and on the streets. This order does nothing to lower the cost of housing or help people make ends meet." The president's order follows a landmark Supreme Court ruling from last year, which determined that it is not cruel and unusual punishment to criminalize camping when no shelter is available. This ruling, originating from a case in Grants Pass, Oregon, has had far-reaching implications, leading to more aggressive policies and practices against unhoused individuals. According to a recent report by the American Civil Liberties Union, cities across the U.S. have introduced over 320 bills criminalizing homelessness, the majority of which have been enacted. These crackdowns have occurred in both Democratic and Republican-controlled areas, reflecting a nationwide trend. Advocates for unhoused individuals argue that criminalization only worsens the housing crisis, as it leads to a cycle of incarceration, loss of personal belongings, and disconnection from essential services. People often end up in more precarious situations, deeper in debt, and in increasingly dangerous conditions. And this is the part most people miss. During his campaign last year, Trump used stark language to describe the humanitarian crisis, suggesting the creation of tent cities and raising concerns that the most vulnerable Americans could be forcibly relocated to remote areas, potentially resembling concentration camps. This rhetoric has fueled fears that spark intense debate about the ethical implications of such measures. What do you think? Is this executive order a step in the right direction? Or does it risk further marginalizing and harming the unhoused population? Share your thoughts in the comments below.